Hi, I'm Regina Gill. We're here at the Gold Coast International Film Festival, and we're here with
Suzanne Mitchell, the director of Running Wild.
Maura Bertoli, the cinematographer.
the film is Running Wild, and we have in the parking lot at the Soundview Cinemas Theater Complex here in Port Washington, we have live horses, and it's all connected to this particular cause that we're embracing today through the festival. We're going to let you have a word to say about how you made the film, why you made the film, and what this film is promoting.
About 20 years ago, Mauro and I were out west doing a story about the 20th anniversary of People magazine. And in reviewing what stories were going to go into that 1.5-minute special, we found the story of Dayton O. Hyde, a man who was out west working the land and saving wild horses on a 13,000-acre wild horse sanctuary. And when we met him, we realized that this was much more than a 1.5-minute piece on a People magazine special. This deserved a feature-length film. And here we are 21 years later.
That's a wonderful story. Danielle, what do you have to say about what it was like to shoot this?
It was an incredible journey. It was a tremendous experience. No matter where I pointed the camera, it was an incredible image. We just had a blast. It was an amazing experience. Meeting Dayton Hyde Suzanne and I just fell in love with him, and we felt strongly about telling his story. And the biggest challenge I felt shooting this film was gaining his trust. 2 New York City slickers in South Dakota, and gaining his trust, and we did it, and here we are today.
And you know what's so ironic? Because here we are at the Gold Coast Film Festival. Mauro and I met at the New York Institute of Technology. I'm not going to tell you how many decades ago. A lot. And he shot a piece. We used to do this local news show called LA News Tonight out of the New York Tech campus. And when I met him and we shot a shoe story about a shoe fire somewhere, and I said, you know, in life you're going to go with me everywhere, and here we are.
It's a great story on so many levels. We thank you so much. The name of the film is Running Wild. If you're not here today to see it with us, we hope you'll be looking for it in theaters soon. Thanks. Hi, I'm Regina Gill, Gold Coast International Film Festival Executive Director, and I'm here with Manda, Kalimian, and she will talk to you about why on a Sunday morning in October in the parking lot of the Soundview Cinemas, we have these 2 handsome, beautiful examples of horse elegance. And there's a story here. And how that story connects to the Gold Coast Film Festival is something you're going to hear about right now. Amanda.
Oh, Regina, thank you so much. Well, first, thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
We're thrilled to be here, and this is Milltown, and this is Chip. And Milltown and Chip are here today because they are the ambassadors for the Seraphim12 Foundation. Our organization helps promote education and awareness about abuse, neglect, and slaughter of America's horses. But more importantly, the value of the horse and human connection. They represent, horses are so invaluable to us, and people don't really understand that. They think that horses are just for riding and racing, pulling carts, but there is so much history that the horse offers us Americans as a country and as a people. So we have come together with Suzanne Mitchell, the film's producer director of Running Wild, which is a documentary about Dayton Hyde. Dayton Hyde is an incredible environmentalist, man, cowboy, and he has a sanctuary which houses 500 to 700 Mustangs, and he is preserving America's heritage through the Mustang. And so Suzanne and I are in alignment and have teamed up to show the world and promote the importance of horses and the horse-human connection so people can see another side of horses that they never knew.
I thank you. That was an articulate and wonderful explanation, and another example of how the arts can function as a catalyst for good causes in society.
Well, thank you so much for having us. And Millie would like to say something. Millie, would you like to say something to the people?
Thank you very much.
My name is Aviva Miller. I'm programming and special events here at Gold Coast International Film Festival. Really happy you came out today. There are films all day today, tonight, tomorrow. So please look on our website, goldcoastfilmfestival.org, and see if there's anything else you'd like to join us for. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors, who you'll see on the screen in a moment. All of our volunteers. We have amazing volunteers that worked with us for a month or more before and all during this week. So please give them a hand. Yay, volunteers. Lastly, you've all been given a ballot for today's film. Please take time to vote. It's not hard. Just make a tear in on the number that you think the film deserves, which we all know is a 5. Just kidding. And then you'll hand them to the volunteers on your way out. Your vote counts. And this is what helps us determine our audience winners for the festival. Now, please turn off your cell phones if you have them on. Sit back and enjoy the show. We'll see you afterwards for a Q&A. Thanks. Oh, did you want to say something?
Enjoy the film. No, I just wanted to say thank you to the Gold Coast Film Festival for having us, and especially to Manda for creating this event this evening. It's already this morning. And it's really important to support organizations like the Gold Coast Film Festival so that folks like you get to see independent films by people like myself who have put our heart and soul and always hope that there's an audience out there to watch it. So again, thank you to the Gold Coast Film Festival, and we'll talk to you after the film. Please stay around. Don't run off to the bathroom. Thank you everyone for staying. Hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, very.
And thank you, Manda, for understanding the plight of the wild horse. And we connected because Manda was holding this amazing event called Hooves on First at Citi Field, and I read about it 4 weeks before my film was being released nationally. And immediately I called somebody who was representing Manda's organization and said, how do I reach the person who put together Seraphim12? It sounds so perfect, exactly the message in my film. We have to work together. Here we are.
Suzanne, thank you for making this film. I want to point out for anybody who doesn't know that it's the piece about you and your journey and the film that always sticks out to me. It was a 12-year journey for Suzanne to make this film, and there was, well, why don't you tell them a little bit quickly about the journey, because it's so important that everybody know.
I want to recognize somebody in the audience named Mauro Bertoli. Stand up, Mauro. He shot this film. He's the cinematographer. And Mauro and I met when we went to school together thousands of decades ago at the New York Institute of Technology right up the road. And I said, whatever I do in life, you're coming with me because you're the most amazing cinematographer I ever met. And that was when, we were very young. In '92, I got hired by People magazine to do a 20-year retrospective television special about the magazine. And the first thing I had to do was flip through 20 years of People to figure out what stories would go into that ABC special. And by the third celebrity divorce, I was ready to slip my wrist, and then I found the story of Dayton O. Hyde. And there was a photograph of these wild horses. And I thought, for no other reason, I wanted to go out west to see where wild horses roamed. I lobbied the executive producers to let me go out there. And Mauro was the cinematographer on that shoot. And we spent 5 days out there, and we knew that the story would be reduced down to about a minute and a half on this mega TV special. But in order to get those shots of the horses running, not the ones you see in this film, but what we shot back in 1992, we had to spend a lot of time with Dayton Hyde. And in doing that, we heard all of his stories while we rode from one side of the sanctuary to the other. And when we left after 4.5 days, we pulled off the sanctuaries. Dayton was out there alone. Susan wasn't out there yet. And he was sitting on an old log stump, and I was sobbing. And Mauro turned to me and said, what do you think? I've never seen you like this before. And we worked a lot together at that point. And I said, I think I met the most amazing person that I've ever come across. And his story should be told, and how am I going to do this in a minute and a half? And Mauro said, let's do a film. And that was in '92. And then finally in 2002, we got off our butts and made it happen. We felt like if Dayton could make it happen at 62, create this, what is now 13,000-acre wild horse sanctuary, I certainly could take the gamble and begin the process. so here we are, and then we meet Manda, so it's all sort of meant to be. Timing is everything in life.
Well, and I just want to say that the message that I think Suzanne, Seraphim12 Foundation promotes education and awareness about the plight of America's horses. But more than that, they help to introduce and to make people understand the value of the horse-human connection. And this is what Dayton understands, and the value in the horse-human connection. Horses have been our friends, our companions. They've done everything for us. They built our country, they've led us into battle, but they help us to reconnect to a place within ourselves that has long ago been forgotten. It's a place where we want to be free and wild, just like the horses. And Suzanne understood that through Dayton's message. And when you watch the film, when Dayton, talks about how, the horses are free and to keep the horses free, keeping the horses wild and free really is for us. It helps us to be wild and free and reconnect to a place that we really, really have to remember. And Dayton's story tells everybody that we all can do something, whether it's to save the Mustang, save the birds, save a tree. It is within our power, and it is our obligation to do that. And we must reconnect and come together. And so Seraphim12 helps to promote this awareness. I know all of you met Millie and Chip. They were here just so everybody could get a moment of some horse energy. But we want to help support sanctuaries like the Black Hills and others who are trying to help save the wild Mustang, so that they belong to us. And it is our obligation to help them, to sustain them, and so that we can go there and understand and reconnect with the people that we really are.
Well said.
Well, where are you going?
We'd like to take some questions.
Yes, but in the movie, and it's so dramatic towards the end as you bring in these other issues. And first I want to comment this: the film is stunning, absolutely stunning, and I love the way you weave these several themes in it. There's several themes: the Indian theme, the conservation theme, and finally this mining thing, where you bring out, because what you say, it's not just up to us. If you say that we actually don't own the land and the rights underneath, and that there's a bias in the law towards these other uses.
It is up to us to fight it.
Let me say something. There is a statement in the Constitution that says, "We the people." And we have forgotten that. We the people say who makes the laws. We the people say what is good and what is not good. And we have got to take back what belongs to us. The Mustang belongs to we the people. It belongs to America. It belongs to every single person sitting in this audience. Your tax dollars go to say it costs the American people $80 million a year. They round up wild Mustangs. There are 50,000 Mustangs in holding pens throughout the West. It is costing $80 million of your taxpayer money to support those Mustangs that are suffering. There are only 35,000 free roaming left.
How many?
35,000 Mustangs are left free roaming. As they said in the film, soon sanctuaries will be the only place that your children and their grandchildren will be able to remember what the Mustangs were. We must stop all of this from happening. We the people, when you go to the polls, think about who you're going to vote for. Vote for somebody that is sympathetic, that understands the environment, understands animals. It is our opportunity. We have the right to change that. I'm sorry.
And Dayton is taking on the uranium mining, as you know, and his legal bills are now well over $60,000, and they're going before the water board in South Dakota. They've been already before the mineral board. And if he was here with us right now, and he would be, except that the meetings begin on Monday, he's been traveling with me at 88 years old, it's been pretty phenomenal, he would say, I'm going to win this one. And he is, supporting a whole population out in the Black Hills in terms of his advocacy and his being upfront about this issue. this is an area where Mount Rushmore exists. You know, if they taint the water, what will happen to the tourism dollars in that state? So we've been really writing petitions and sending it to the governor's office, to the head of the tourism department in the state of South Dakota, with audiences throughout the United States who've been watching this film. So they know what they're up against, and we're hoping that they will not give them the necessary permits.
Did he get the mineral rights for his land?
When he purchased the land on credit cards at 62 years old back in the mid-1980s, he was offered the rights to buy the mineral rights. And he said, no, I'm never going to mine this land. I don't need that. He didn't know that this law existed in the West. It's like eminent domain.
Is he trying to do it now, though?
Too late. Too late.
So that other company owns the mineral rights?
They own the mineral rights. And it's the type of mining that they want to do requires pumping clean water out of an already fragile aquifer. I was out west very recently for The Nation magazine on a story about the drought that's affected this region of the United States. And to use the billions and billions of gallons of water that they would need to create this in situ type mining would not only further deplete an already depleted aquifer, but one little accident would last for billions of years. You can't clean up uranium.
I think everyone, you know, Seraphim12, there's a little thing that we always say, and it says, people saving horses, horses saving humanity. And we have to remember that we must keep the horses on the land, all over. Horses must remain free roaming, they must stay on the land, and everybody must take a stand, whether it's horses, birds, trees. I think if Suzanne has tried to bring the message to anybody, is that everybody has an obligation and everybody has the opportunity and the right to stand up for something that they believe in.
And one of the things that Dayton expressed to me early on in this process was that the horses are his partners in saving the land. He needs them as much as they need him, and the land needs them. So, and the spirituality that comes through with the Native Americans is really overwhelming. We had an incident where we were filming out there, and we had, Morrow was the cinematographer, but we had several sound people on this process over 12 years. And one of them is a very noted sound guy named Peter Miller. He actually lives here on Long Island. He's won many Academy Awards. He is the top notch in sound for documentaries. And we went by the caves, by the Indian caves, and we were filming, and suddenly his wireless microphones went out. And he all right, let me change the batteries, you know. And this guy comes with, you know, cases of equipment. And we could never get it to work. We couldn't do the interview at the cave. It just wouldn't work. And I can't explain it. He couldn't explain it. And it was, you know, there's an energy on this land and on native land that, you know, until you go there and experience it firsthand, it's even hard to describe.
You know, Suzanne, all we